And great from a Somerset point of view to see yourself, Bessie, and of course Josh Butler out there. It shows that, for kids in the West Country, there is a pathway out there to get to the very peak of your game.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, it was great to be out there with Bessie. Obviously, it had some really special memories at Somerset with him bowling together and sort of winning games together for Somerset. And I think to do it for England, we talked about it before the game, was we wanted to continue that on, with an England shirt on, and yeah, to do that was really special, and yeah, it was great fun.
I think I speak for everyone on this call and everyone connected with Somerset County Cricket Club when we say it was great to see you performing so well. It's been well documented that it's been a tough 18 months or so for you, and I think we're all absolutely delighted to see you perform so well. What was it like to finally get back out there and throw the ball down in anger?
Yeah, thanks. No, it was good. It was challenging, to be honest. Like it wasn't. I wouldn't say it felt straightforward. I felt for quite a lot of the game, I didn't feel at my best, and I guess that would probably to be expected with how little I played. But I guess I'm my own worst critic and kind of put quite a lot of pressure on myself, and was a little bit frustrated at times. But towards the end, I really found my rhythms again, and yeah, it was just nice to have that long spell of bowling, and yeah, it was coming back, and I've trained well today, and feel like for that second game I'll be even more ready after that bowling in the first game. So yeah, really good.
Excellent. Well, we'll catch up with you again shortly. Obviously, you're not the only one out there. Let's bring Craig in. What was it like for you, Craig, watching your current teammate and former teammates taking Sri Lanka to pieces, really?
Yeah, it was obviously good to watch. Obviously, it's slightly different for me not being involved, just sitting on the sidelines and watching. But to see them go about it was no different than what they do at Somerset. Obviously, having that time off that they've had and then going out and performing like that was almost incredible, because for us as bowlers, it's always tough coming after going into a 4-day game with not much prep and having that time to actually acclimatise to those conditions as well. It's not like you're playing in England in middle of summer or the start of the summer where it's 5 degrees. You're playing in 35-degree heat, and it's almost 90% humidity as well. So it's completely alien to us to get out there, and for the way they went about it and the way they put them under pressure to get wickets was special to watch. And it almost felt like we're back when we were playing at Somerset and they were trying to win games for us then.
Obviously,
when you're on your knees.
What's that? Yeah.
When you're on your knees with the helmet on.
Yeah.
Must be frustrating not to be involved in the starting lineup, but what's the mood in the camp like, and what's it like being involved around the international players? Are you to work on your own game and improve yourself and come back better for Somerset?
No, yeah, it's obviously slightly different. It's I knew coming out here that I probably wasn't going to be playing these 2 test matches, but it was making sure that I was doing the right things to make sure that if I was called upon, and there were a few sort of work COVID cases as there was, but making sure that I was ready for those games if I was needed, and just trying to work with the nets as much as I can and make sure that I'm improving the skills that you need out here to be able to develop myself for when I come back to Somerset and hopefully continue the work that I've been doing.
I mean, it's great for the club, isn't it? Obviously, in the chat facility, I think we've mentioned it as well. We've had a message from Annie Chabe saying that every wicket in the Sri Lankan second innings involved a current or former Somerset player, and she spoke to Vic Marks about it. He thinks that's the only time that's happened in Test match history. I mean, that's something incredible to be a part of, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, it's nice to be out again with Joss. Obviously, the last time I was out here was the first time I played in an England shirt with Joss, and yeah, we obviously were pretty excited by bowled Leach, caught Butler, and yeah, obviously that happened a couple of times in the second innings. So yeah, we were pretty happy with that.
Excellent. Now, moving on to Brooks, who by the looks of it is pretending to be in a hotel in Australia as well. Are you over there, Jack, or are you just pretending in slightly less salubrious surroundings?
I was going to say, the only thing I've got in common with these boys at the minute is I'm also in a hotel, but I'm doing an Alan Partridge and in the Holiday Inn in Taunton. Because I don't actually have anywhere to live at the minute in Taunton. I'm in the middle of moving house, so luckily hotels are staying open for those who can work. So living the dream.
Have you got your own plate?
I had to bring some cutlery and a plate from my girlfriend's apartment, so I've kitted myself out.
What was it like for you? You know, you've played with these guys for a couple of years now. How proud are you to have played with them and see them going on to perform at the very highest level?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Obviously, I used to play against these clowns before I played with them for the last couple of years. Used to cop a lot from Craig. It'd be no surprise to anyone listening. And always enjoyed a bit of a joust with Leach. In fact, those boys have both got me out, but it's not exactly a big scalp, is it? But no, it was
a few times.
Yeah, I've whacked Leach for a couple of massive sixes at Headingley before, which is always good to talk about. But yeah, no, like part of the reason I wanted to join Somerset was how many players they had who were on the fringes or going to be England players. So the team itself was always going to be high quality and challenging for trophies, and we proved that the last couple of years. It'd just be nice to get over the line and win a few more.
Absolutely. I could chat to you all day, but we haven't got all day. I'm sure. I'm assuming we've got Zoom Premium, and this isn't going to kick us out.
I don't want to talk to you all day, though. So
harsh but fair. I can understand that. We're here to talk about your ultimate county cricket 11s. I know that a lot of hard work has gone into it. We mentioned we was chatting to Craig just before we came on air about his, a bit Mike Bassett. His was written on the back of an envelope, but it all counts. So let's start off with your ultimate county cricketers that you've played with or against. Let's start off with the opening pair. Now, I think you were probably contractually obliged to select Mr. Trescothick, but let's start off with Jack Brooks. Who have you gone for as your opening pair?
Yeah, it'd be no surprise that Trez is number one. Obviously played against him for years and he used to smack me everywhere. And since he obviously stopped playing for England regularly, he would have been scoring billions of runs for Somerset. And he's one of the world's best ever players, let alone county championship players. So it'd be silly not to pick him. And gun in the slips as well. And entertaining in the change rooms. And the other opening partner was, I had to pick a Northants player. He's the only Northants player that one of my teammates that's in the team. Stephen Peters, who retired about 6 years ago, but he played for nearly 20 years. Scored about 31 first-class 100, I think it was. And was a solid opening batter and gun fielder. Adam Lyth was on the fringes, but I went with my old Northants teammate.
Okay. Jack Leach, any arguments with you regarding Trez?
No arguments with Trez. I grew up watching him. He was probably my hero growing up. Not my hero anymore, but he definitely makes the side. And then I've got Sir Alistair Cook as my other opener. Obviously, we played against him a few times in the last couple of years, and I don't know. Well, I think he's a pretty good player, so I'm going with him.
And a knight of the realm.
Yeah, exactly. He's a sir, so I had to go with him.
And I just say my team's all guys that I've played with.
Okay.
Played with. Okay.
So it's probably a bit different to the other boys as well.
No problem. Yeah. So far we got Trez, two out of 3 votes so far. Stephen Peters and Alistair Cook. Craig Overton. Again, any argument with having Trescothick as one of the opening pair?
No argument there. I think he's shown for however long he's played for a long time. So however long he's played for, he's shown that he's a high class performer. And if he didn't have his mental health issues, I think he would have played for England for a lot longer than he did. So I think he's justified in our sides.
Okay, and let's just talk about Trez for a minute, because he is a bit of a phenomenon to have played, at the level that he's had for so long. You mentioned, the issues that he's had that curtailed his England career, which is obviously sad for everyone who loves watching someone who's such an elegant player playing at the highest level. Let's talk a little bit about what he does off the field as well. Everyone knows what he does on the pitch, but it's sort of behind the scenes that maybe supporters, members, and members of the public don't get to see. He's just, he lives and breathes the club, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's one of the most selfless persons you could probably think of. He'd do anything for you as a player, when he was a player. Now he's a coach. He'll do anything for you. no matter what it is. He's the first person to put his card behind the bar if we're having a round of drinks or something. He just offers everything, and he's you can't really say anything bad about him, really.
Well, no, because you're not allowed, because he's got a big stand. So we're going with
6
Trez then.
pavilions and a stand.
They're going to name the whole town after him before long. So we're all agreed with Trez as opener. We've got Stephen Peters and Alistair Cook as potential opening partners. Craig, who have you gone with?
I've gone for Sir Alistair Cook as well. I think it showed in the final that we had last year, when he needs to turn up and score runs, he does. And he's scored 10,000 runs for England and scored a lot of runs for Essex as well. So I think he's well worth his place in the side.
Okay, so are we going to have a fight with that, Jack Brooks? Are you going to put Stephen Peters ahead of Alistair Cook? Or are you going to go with the weight of numbers, both the runs he scored, the fact that he's a knight of the realm, so he's mates with the Queen, and also these two boys have picked him. You've got to train in the next few weeks.
I'll pick my battles, mate. I'll let Sir Alistair play a game.
Okay, so an opening pair then of Sir Alistair Cook and, surely not before too long, Sir Marcus Trescothick, Lord of the West Country. Okay, so who is going to go in at the all-important number 3? Don't forget, if you guys are watching and if you've got some selections as well, please do put them in the chat facility. If I remember, I will definitely try and read them out. But let's start with Craig this time. Who have you got for at number 3?
Well, I've got one of 3 really. So I'm not quite sure. Depends on where I want my overseas players. How many overseas players are we allowed? 1?
You can have as many as you like, as long as it's not too many.
I think it should only be 1.
It should just be 1.
Yeah, compared to what we've been playing with.
Yeah,
I think I'm probably swaying between Gary Balance or Trott, and I think I'll probably go Gary Balance.
Gary Balance. Okay. Have you've obviously played against him. What was he like to play against?
It's just so difficult to bowl to. When he's obviously didn't have his, when they've obviously had those struggles in the Test matches, but when he came back to county cricket, the amount of runs that he scored was just ridiculous, and he never seemed to have a way of getting them out. Especially when he was in that run of form that he was just scoring runs for fun. So obviously him being a left-hander I always found a little bit more tricky bowling to lefties than I do to the right-handers. So it was always difficult to bowl to.
Well, if he gets picked, you don't want to bowl to this lot then, with Trez, Cook and Balance in the top 3.
No.
What about you two, the two Jacks? What was it like facing Gary Balance?
Well, I've played with him for a few years. He's one of my mates. And he was a nightmare to bowl to, but because when he got in, he was just very difficult to get out. He could be quite destructive, but and good leading the charge off the field as well. He didn't make my 11 though, actually. I went for Kane Williamson, who I played with at Yorkshire for a few years. He's my overseas and probably the best player in the world at the minute on form and for his class, and arguably the best captain as well. And it's difficult to leave someone out like that if you've played with them. So unfortunately, Gary couldn't make it ahead of him.
That's a great shout, Kevin Williamson. Jack Leach, who have you got at 3?
I've gone Chris Rogers. Obviously captained us in 2016, I think. So, I played against him when he played for Middlesex, and I think he got 200. And I obviously had a year with him in 2016, and I really enjoyed sort of bowling under his captaincy. He helped me a lot, definitely progressed my game on, and good fun in the dressing room. And so I've obviously scored a hell of a lot of runs as an Aussie. Came over here quite a lot to play county cricket and scored heavy runs. So I've gone for Chris Rogers.
Okay, so names in the frame then are Gary Balance, Kane Williamson and Chris Rogers. I'll leave you 3 to argue that out amongst yourselves. Between the 3 of you, you've got to pick one of those 3, which isn't going to be easy. We've had some good suggestions coming in on the chat. We'll open it up to the floor. Names mentioned: Kevin Peterson, Ian Bell. We'll throw them in the mix. We'll leave it to you 3. You've got to come up with a team. Who's it going to be?
The Peterson and Bell both class as well. They didn't play a lot of county cricket whilst I was around. I went for more of a players that I'd played with and played a reasonable amount of county cricket as well. I'm still going to stick with Kane just because he's best player in the world. But Rodgers scored a massive double under against Yorkshire once when I was bowling. You'd still be batting now, I think, if I was still bowling. And who was Craig's balance? Yeah, I mean you can't go
Chris
wrong
Rodgers.
with any three of them. But I'm sticking with Kane.
Okay, Jack Leach, Craig Overton, make your case.
Go on, Leachy.
Well, the only reason I go for balance is because I want to use my overseas later on. So I'm going to take Chris Rodgers off the table. But then, obviously, Kane Williamson, like you say, great player, probably is playing the best in the world at the moment. So, and I did not enjoy bowling to him at all. So, actually, in fact, in terms of who I least enjoyed bowling to, I would probably say Kane Williamson would be the one I least enjoyed bowling to. But I don't know.
Okay, so that's Kane Williamson, Craig Overton. So we've got on the table. We've got balance. Who are you going to go for? We've got balance and Williamson on the table. Rodgers is removed. Where's your vote going?
I think for me, it's who. If we go for Kane, it changes then my overseas spinner.
Yeah.
So I need to get another spinner in the side. So because obviously later on I've got an overseas spinner that's probably the best off spinner in the country for the last 10 years. So
that Leach is English. What are you talking about?
I was going to say, if you don't pick Leach, you'll be uproar in this group, mate. People start picking off and throwing their iPads out the window.
I think we'll go with Kane, I think, and then we'll get Leach
So
in later on.
Okay. So I'm very sorry, Jack Brooks, but
are we allowed 2 overseas from now?
Yeah, go on. We'll let you have 2 overseas.
Okay.
Have 2 overseas. We've now pinned down our number 3 as being Kane Williamson. So far we have Trescothick, Cook, Williamson. Wow, wouldn't like to bowl to that. Let's look at number 4. We're going in 4.
This is probably the easiest person we'll ever pick.
I reckon we've all got the same name.
Go on then. Who have you got?
Hildy?
Yeah, Hildreth.
Oh, I've gone Hildy at 5. So I've gone Joe Root at 4.
Oh, I've got him at 5.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, right.
Okay. Shall we do 4 and 5? Would that sort of seamlessly take us into 4 and 5 there?
Craig, who have you got at 5?
I haven't played against Rooty in county cricket, so I went James Vince.
Yeah, rack him off. Root and Hildreth.
Root and Hildreth. Would you like to have some kind of digital virtual fist fight as to who goes 4, who goes 5?
I reckon Hildy will be pretty. Hildy won't be bothered because he's quite chilled. He wouldn't be asked if he batted 9. So put Root at 4 and Hildy at 5.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Craig, you've played with Root, so
yeah, I've played with the Rooties. Yeah, so we'll put Rooty in there at 4.
Okay. I was hoping there was going to be slightly more bickering than this, if I'm perfectly honest. But there we go. So far we've got Marcus Trescothick, Alistair Cook, Kane Williamson, Joe Root. I'm assuming you meant Joe Root, not Billy. And at 5. I reckon, just to keep the uniformity going, perhaps we should go after 5 with 6. Who have you got? Who have we got at 6?
Sorry, you go, Leachy.
No, you go.
No, you go, mate. You go.
Oh,
everyone is so polite.
Well, I wanted to have an all-rounder at 6, so I've gone Stokes, but I feel like I don't even know how much championship cricket he would have played, and I feel like that's probably not fair, is it? But
yeah, well, I've played with him before in the Lions, and he's obviously class, but I was going more niche county championship 11.
Sticking to it.
Because there's some purists out there listening, probably.
Go on then.
I've gone for a keeper, Johnny Bairstow. So I played a reasonable amount. He played a lot of county cricket in my early days with Yorkshire, and he basically won us a championship one year.
Well, good on him. Yeah. Who have you got, Craig?
I've gone for a keeper at 6. Chris Reed.
Yeah, good choice. He was my second choice.
Your keeper bats at 7, doesn't he?
I've got my all-rounder at 7.
Okay.
Is his name
Is
Craig
that
Overton?
No,
Yeah.
can't pick yourself.
Okay, shall we
So
look at 6 and 7 then? Shall we look at all-rounder keeper 6 and 7 and pick 2 names from the ones you got in the hat? So far we've got Stokes, Bairstow and Reed in the hat for 6. Let's open it up to 7 as well, and then we can discuss the finer points of that. So who have you got there at 7?
I'll go first, Leachy.
Go on.
I've got my all-rounders Ricky Clark. Snaffles him in the slips, bowls. I think his average is probably mid-20s and he scored a decent amount of runs as well. So he'll be my all-rounder that's been a proper county championship stalwart.
I've got my second game was against Warwickshire, and Ricky Clark was bowling at me, and I was night watchman. It was a TV game, and he ran. I blocked out the last few balls, and he said, "I'm coming for you in the morning, you ugly something." So I've never been a big fan, to be honest, but he can play cricket. So he probably is your best.
He can't call anyone ugly though, can he? Really? It's not exactly an oil painting, is he?
But I mean, I think Brooksy, have you got an all-rounder?
Yeah. So again, bearing in mind my 11 is just guys I played with. I've gone for Tim Bresnan.
Yeah. So I think those two are actually the best all-rounders, probably, aren't they?
Bresnan and Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Darren Stevens, maybe.
Yeah. Who's the best?
Don't know. It's opinion, isn't it?
Yeah. Who would you rather? I'd rather face Clark than Bresnan.
Yeah. Okay. And you don't like him, so you're not picking him, are you?
And I'd rather bowl at. Yeah, I don't know who I'd rather bowl at. Probably Clark.
Okay, so you're picking Bresnan then.
What about Craig? We've left poor Craig's number 7 out. Craig, who have you got?
Well, mine was Ricky Clark at 7.
Are you against Clark as well? Okay.
Yeah.
So on the table for 6 and 7, we've got Stokes, Bairstow, Reed, Clark.
Stokes is out.
Stokes is out.
Just he's not played enough Champo cricket. And then my number 7 is Steve Davis.
Solid.
He's my good mate.
Solid.
And he scored. I looked his stats up. He scored like 14,000 runs. So in terms of keepers, he's done pretty well. And he's
very good, stood up to you, isn't he?
And great in the dressing room. Good lad.
Yeah, great.
I don't think I've ever known Davos drop a catch, if I'm being honest.
He is so solid behind the stumps. Like, you don't really notice him, do you?
No. I'd pick him because then we can go and play. I'd pick him because then we can go and play snooker in the evenings after we played.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
I'd go with Davis and Bresnan then out of all of those.
Okay, well, let's see what the punters think. Open it up to chat. You've got 1 minute to come at us with your 6 and 7 championship cricket. See if you can do better than these guys. We've had someone mentioned Darren Stevens. A bit of support for Jack Leach following Ricky Clark's unpleasant chat, which is always nice to see. Jokes on him after Jack Leach became a national hero. Someone said on my phone, and that's handy. Craig Keysvetter is coming. Craig Keysvetter is getting a lot of love. Mark Edwards has suggested as well. Peter Trigo. How could you forget Peter?
Oh yeah, Triggs.
How quickly they forget. Wade Madson's got a mention as well. So are we going to add to that? So far we've got Bairstow, Reed, Clark, Bresnan, Davis. Are we going to throw Triggs and Keysvetter into that mix?
I mean, you can, can't you? But
we can. You'll ignore me potentially, but oh wow! Someone suggested Ian Botham. Jack, are you old enough to play with Ian Botham? Just
I'm not sure I'm old enough.
No, I think it was a little bit before my time. I think, yeah.
Jeetan Patel, but I imagine we'll probably get down to spinners a little bit later. So
Gee,
I never
you don't want that.
I never played a game with Triggs for Somerset. Played second team game with him, I think, but
we've had suggestions of obviously Bresnan and Davis. Nigel Wood is going with Bresnan and Davis. So who are we going to go for then, chaps? Number 6 and number 7. Who are we going for at 6?
I'd go Davis, Bresnan, but I mean, whatever.
I don't mind, but whatever.
I'd go Davis. I'd go Treats.
Since it's the Somerset
Davis and Bresnan. What are you going for, Craig?
I'll go Davos as well.
Yeah.
At 6, and then I'll go Brezzy at 7.
Oh, Bresnan snuck in there, hasn't he?
Motion carried. Next.
So there we go. So then, is anyone motion carried? I don't want any paddies. I don't want this coming up in the changing room during the season. I don't want any unpleasantness. Let's have a look. Basil D'Oliveira, someone has suggested, probably before your time. We probably need to mention once again that this is people you've played with and against. I think they're mentioning your age there, Brooksy, a little bit.
How old am I?
Old.
I just wait for WG Grace. Anyone? No. So we're going with Davis and Bresnan. Phil Kingdom will be particularly pleased with that because he's happy with that. So far we have got Marcus Trescothick, Alistair Cook, Kane Williamson, Joe Root, James Hildreth, Steve Davis, and Tim Bresnan. Now we're getting into bowling attack. So 8, 9, 10, 11 to go. Who are we going with at 8? Let's start with Jack Brooks because he's the one that's on my screen.
Right.
Number 8.
My number 8. I was going to go Liam Plunkett. I balanced my attack out because I went and again I played with him, and he's my sort of quick bowler in the attack. Craig's also in the team and could bat 8, but I think Liam's got more hundreds, so I just went with Liam batting above him.
Well, should we do the attack then, rather than doing it? Because you might have obviously different players in different positions. Let's go with your attack. Are you going seamers? You going with a spinner?
Yeah.
You going with 4 spinners?
Yeah, so I've gone.
Jack Brooks, what have you got?
Including the all-rounder, I've gone 4 seamers and the spinner, but we've already said the all-rounder. So my other 3 seamers were Plunkett, Craig Overton, not just because he's on air, but because he's actually quite good at cricket and bowling. Ryan Sidebottom, take the new ball, my old partner at Yorkshire. And my spinner, I either went, it was a toss-up between Adil Rashid and Jack Leach. And because it's a Somerset forum and Leachy's on here and we might cry if I didn't pick him, I've picked Leachy.
I would rather pick Rash, actually.
Leach, okay. You've gone with Plunkett, Overton, Sidebottom, and Leach, and obviously assuming that Joe Root can, if it's a turning wicket, Joe Root can chuck a through down as well.
Yeah, you got Root and Williamson as your part-timers.
Jack Leach, what have you gone for?
Yeah. What, at 8 or just?
Let's go with your attack. Who are you going with?
With my attack, okay. So I've got, seamers. I've got Graham Onions and James Anderson. I put James Anderson in there because we actually seem to play against him in Championship cricket quite a lot. And obviously he's unbelievable. And then I've gone, and I've got 3 spin options depending on what the wicket's like. And I've got
Taunton.
Yeah, if we're playing at Taunton, so I've got
Taunton 2016.
I've got a leggy, a left arm offie, and an off spinner. I've got Adil Rashid, Jeetan Patel, and Monty Panesar.
Okay.
But they don't. So it's either Rashid. The thing is, my tail's quite long. If I've got Jeetan, Jeets can bat at 8, can he? Is that a bit high?
I wouldn't mind it. I'd love him coming out at 8.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him coming in at 8.
Yeah, but if we're playing on a spinning wicket, he could he's not going to be scared of it. He's going to be quite dangerous against the other spinners.
Yeah, but I'd imagine that Craig and I are both going to want to play on a Taunton April the 5th deck, not a Hyderabad late August
Exactly.
2016 deck.
Depends on the wicket, doesn't it? But yeah, so I suppose I could.
You won't even wear your bowling boots in my game, mate. You're just going out there to field at mid-on and provide some entertainment.
You can do that.
Pretty sure we've got flats on in Leach's game.
yeah. Mate, I'm not even turning up. I'll come at lunch, have some food, and then wander out there.
So yeah, those are the names that I've got.
Okay, so you're checking. We've got Onions, Anderson, Rashid Patel, and Monty into the hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Such in there.
No.
What I'm loving, I'm getting the impression you've used the phrase. I've looked at his stats, and Jack Leach is taking this much more seriously than you, Jack Brooks. He's looking at stats. He's looking at what time of year it is, whether we're playing home and away. That is the sort of commitment to this that I was looking for from you, Jack Brooks. Not rocking in.
He's had a bit more. I think he's had a bit more spare time than me the last couple of days.
Nothing to do. Craig Overton, what have you got so far in the mix? We've got Plunkett, Onions, some fella Overton, Jimmy Anderson, side bottom Rashid Patel, Monty, and Mr. Leach. What have you got for me?
Well, mine sort of depends on how many overseas are allowed. Did we say 2?
Yeah.
Or is it just one?
Yeah.
So I initially, the spinner would have been either Jeets or Leachy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd quite like a left arm seamer, so it's either Keith Barker or Ryan Sidebottom, depending on who we chose. And then obviously Jimmy Anderson had some. What's that?
So you've got left arm
Jeets and Barks, which is quite a good combo.
That's very good.
And Barks can bat a little bit. I think he averages 25 to 30, so he's got a decent amount of runs. Jimmy at 11. I don't think you can go too far from him. And then my 10 was sort of in between Jack Brooks or Alfonso Thomas. So it was quite I couldn't really choose between them. They both had good skills. So it was a tough one.
We'll call it quits there then. We'll just end it right there.
Jack Brooks or Alfonso Thomas. Wow. So the motion is on the table from Craig Overton. Jack Brooks is one of the two mentioned, so it seems slightly unfair to get him to choose. Jack Leach, what do you reckon to that? Who would you go for? Given that one is a Somerset legend who played for many years and is leading wicket takers in competitions, the other is currently listening and looking at you. Who would you prefer to play with, or who would you least like to play against? Let's put it that way. Jack Brooks or Alfonso Thomas? Who strikes fear into your heart when you've got the bat in your hand most?
Well, I didn't face Alfonso because I only played with him. So it would be hard to say, but Brooksy got me out. Brooksy's got me out a few times, I think. He's definitely got me out once. And I remember feeling quite scared, actually.
Yeah, that's what happens, mate. Quite often people are scared of me, and that's even before they go on the pitch.
I think on this occasion I'll have to go for Jack Brooks.
You're so kind, mate. You're so kind.
Can I just say an argument? Did you have Jeets, Brooksy?
No.
I just feel like
you had
Jeets,
Brash, didn't you?
like
I went for Leach in the end just because I was being nice.
Yeah, I want to create an argument for Jeets instead of me, because I feel like his longevity, he's done it for what he was in 10 years, and he's done well every year. So I just want to really argue that point.
All right.
With your left arm option of side bottom.
Noted.
You've gone side bottom. So I think
that's fine.
That could work quite nicely.
Could, mate, you're right.
So let's have a look at the names. Let's have a look at the names in the hat then. So we've got 4 places to fill. The names on the table are Plunkett, Onions, Barker, Anderson, Sidebottom, Rashid, Patel, Panesar, and ironically, given that 3 of you are here, Brooks, Overton and Leach. It's almost like it's meant to be.
I think a new ball pair of Anderson and Sidebottom would be pretty handy.
Yeah. And Onions.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, first change.
First change.
Yeah, out of those three, I'd have Onions first change, and then
don't forget we've got Brezzy. We've got Brezzy as well, haven't we?
Yeah,
that's going to bowl.
I mean, you can't go wrong with any of them, really, can you?
No.
Let's open it up to the floor as well. Get what
the tail would be quite long, though, that's
from the public.
I think you can have quite a long tail because you remember what our top seven's looking like. It's
if you had
gun.
Yeah, true. I mean, if you had that chap Brooks, he's got 100. You could put him in at 8, couldn't you?
Very true. Very true.
But would you try something to a batter at 8?
Oh, that's what I'd have you, mate. I'd have.
Do you just want to have a love in, and we'll leave you to it?
Are we playing on a normal wicket, like a April wicket? Yeah. Like just like
June wicket, May, June.
English style wicket.
Just a good cricket wicket, mate. You know, good contest between bat and ball.
Okay.
People are disappointed that nobody's mentioned Gareth Batty yet. I know he's a big fan favourite amongst the Somerset faithful.
Good bowler, feisty individual.
Teague's best mate, clearly. Someone suggested Curtly Ambrose.
Again, a bit too old for us.
Little before what we're looking for, but great shout. Can't beat that. Josh Davies got a mention. Curtly Ambrose has got another mention. Andy. So, right, how are we going to fill those 4 names? Let's open it up to the public as well. How many spinners are we going to play? Let's go with that first. How many spinners have we got? How many are we going to go with?
I think we just one, surely.
Just one, mate.
Just one.
Joe Root, because you've got Root and Williamson, obviously.
Yeah.
The three.
Who's it going to be? Is it going to be?
I've got Patel at 8, Onions 9, Anderson 10, Sidebottom 11.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I would only change Onions for Overton maybe, but I'm happy that's still very handy.
So Jimmy Anderson at 11, I'm assuming.
Well, is Sidebottom the number 11?
He was for most of the back end of his career, but they can scrap it out, can they? Like me and you, Leachy.
No mention of Simon Harmer, who's obviously, a big favourite of Somerset fans over the last.
Did think about him, but I felt like Patel had done it for a longer period of time, so I went for Patel.
Okay, so
there's one seamer that we haven't mentioned at Hampshire, Carl Abbott.
He's overseas now, though, isn't he?
Yeah. So it depends where you want your second overseas. If you're having Jeets and you can't have Abbott, then yeah.
So we're happy. We're happy with Jeet Patel as being the spinner.
You could strengthen your batting and put Rashid at 8, and then that's not an overseas, and then you could have a
overseas bowler.
I mean, Matt Henry, he came and got about 80 wickets in 8 games.
You bet against him?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I'm just thinking of names now.
Just thinking of good cricketers.
Yeah.
People are going to have to finish their lunch soon. So who's going to be the final 4 then? We locked in Jimmy Anderson, have we?
Yeah, Anderson, Sidebottom, Onions, and Jeets. I think was our final 4 at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. Onions, Patel at 8 then. Happy with that? Yeah. So the team we're looking at so far: Trescothick, Williamson, Root, Hildreth, Davis, Bresnan, Patel, Onions, Sidebottom, and Anderson. Who is going to skipper that little lot?
Williamson,
probably.
Yeah, he's probably the best captain, isn't he? Out of that.
I think so.
But it's a championship.
Over the England skipper, former England skipper.
If an English guy to do it, you give it Rooty, wouldn't you?
You got Alistair Cook?
Or Cook or Trescothick or
Trez.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Trez,
Williamson
wouldn't you?
captaining. Right, a little one slightly out of left field. Who is going to be 12th man? I don't want to hear about someone's cricketing abilities. 12th man, who's there? Who are you having for the bants? Who's there carrying the drinks and having fun and making those long, drawn-out balcony days where you're sat in the driving rain? All the players you've played with, who's provided you with the most entertainment? Who's been the most fun? Who are you having as 12th man / party organizer / drinks?
But that's what Trigo would be handy for, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
So
or there's another
Trigo.
two, either Brooksy or Mark Wood.
yeah, Mark Wood's a good shout.
Absolute bonkers.
Or
As long as I don't have to field.
our new bowling coach, Steve Kirby.
Tango would be great. Yeah, let's get Tango in there.
Let's get Tango in there.
He'll be
Definitely.
entertaining. You give 100% as well.
Excellent stuff. So we're happy with that? Absolutely. Lovely guy. Wouldn't want to miss field off him entirely, if I'm completely honest with you, but there we go. So are we happy with that? So we have got a graphic design. Look at that. Look at that. It's a thing of beauty. I don't know if you can see that. So the team: Marcus Trescothick, Alistair Cook, Kane Williamson, Joe Root, James Hildreth, Steve Davis, Tim Bresnan, Jeetan Patel, Graham Onions, Jimmy Anderson and Ryan Sidebottom. That is not a bad shout, chaps. Are you happy with that?
Oh yeah, that's top draw, that team.
You wouldn't necessarily want to play against.
They're not losing many games, that's for certain.
No.
I mean that is a great. We obviously we've spoken about some of the players involved in this. We've spoken about Marcus and how good he was. Alistair Cook, obviously playing a lot for England. We didn't necessarily see him as much as we would have liked on the domestic scene. Just how good was and is Alistair Cook?
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Bit of a nightmare to bowl to in county cricket. He's just so good, and if you don't get him out early in county cricket, he's just going to bed in and get a massive score. He's just so tough to bowl at. Doesn't make many mistakes, and if you're slightly off, he just climbs into you.
I mean, what makes the likes of Trescothick and Cook so good? What makes them so difficult to bowl to?
I think
they're always putting the bowlers under pressure. They're not necessarily always looking to score, but they're always, if you bowl a bad ball, they're going to put it away. All of that top 6, top 7. If you bowl a bad ball at them, it's going for 4. So there's no let up really, and that's what puts the bowlers under pressure. If there's a batter at the other end which is almost just going nowhere, it almost feels like you can just bowl and you can just get into a rhythm. Whereas if they're putting you under pressure, that's when as a bowler you need to be on your A game.
Yeah. I think they just know their game so well. Cook doesn't really take any sort of risks, and it feels like he's in complete control. I think he's like a robot. He just, the last ball doesn't affect the next ball, and in that way, it's just very hard to sort of get under his skin or make him make a mistake. So yeah, and I think like Trez, actually, he's a great guy around the dressing room. Obviously, me and Craig would have experienced him a little bit in the England dressing room, and I think he's very like Trez in terms of how much he gives to the team. I know when I first came into the dressing room, he was very kind of welcoming and made sure that I felt comfortable. So and stayed pretty good friends with him. So yeah, he's a great guy. And yeah, I think obviously awesome player.
I think that team as well, we'd have to have it from 10 years ago because they look a bit elderly otherwise.
Yeah. That is true, actually.
There's not a lot of quick singles happening there, is there? Let's face it.
They'd all be fighting out for a slip position, wouldn't they?
Prone to a run out, some of them now. Let's put it that way. We'll sort of call it to a close in the not too distant future, obviously, because we've got people have got to get back to work. People are probably pretending that they're working from home, and they're quite clearly hanging around with you guys virtually, which is good.
Just like you,
so yeah. Exactly. I've got to go and do homeschooling now. I'm just delighted that my 5-year-old hasn't run in telling me that they need to go to the toilet. So that's always handy. It's a great looking team. Just wanted to thank you guys for getting involved in that. Just looking at the team, it looks as though longevity is the key, because you look at those guys and there are players who have been in and around the game for a long time and have earned their place in that team, not by just having a couple of good seasons, but by delivering over a long period of time.
Yeah, that's it. And I think hopefully in 10 years' time, Lewis Goldsworthy and Casey Aldridge will be doing this and picking us three in their team. So that's what you want to do, is you want to be successful over a long period of time. And those guys have definitely done it. And I think we would probably all say that we have looked up to some of those names on there and use them to kind of as motivation to where we would like to get to. So
yeah, no, we're obviously very privileged to do what we do for a living, and it's pretty much what we've done since we were kids, and it's our hobby. But we know how much happiness it puts on people's faces, and especially when it's going well. Not so much when it's not going well, but it's not all glam. Obviously, I'm sat here in a Holiday Inn on a Wednesday afternoon, but when we get back playing this summer, we'll know how much it'll mean to everyone on here who's joined us today. So thanks for coming on. If you haven't already got your new membership, the early bird's open till the end of the month, I believe, Spencer, isn't it?
That's correct, yeah.
Doing my sales pitch, and yeah, I'm just hopefully everyone's okay and got through a horrible 12 months. Really, I know some people have probably had it worse than others, but we're nearly at the end now. So stay positive, and look forward to seeing everyone back this summer, and seeing Paul, Annis, and Chubb are on. And I know them from my time up at Yorkshire, because they live up. They're Somerset fans, but live up in Yorkshire. I've known them for quite a few years, so it's good to see them on this afternoon. So hello to you guys, and to everyone else. Thanks for coming on.
Brilliant. Jack, have you got a message for the guys that have joined us today?
No, yeah, I just thank you very much for all their support. I think obviously from playing in the game just gone, I can really feel how much support we get, and how proud everyone is of us kind of being out here and playing, and it's nice to be. Hopefully lots of people are getting to watch some cricket and in what's a tough time. So yeah, and we're just the Somerset lads, when I was with them before Christmas, it was just like we're just all so excited that hopefully we can play in front of the Somerset fans again this year, because we really missed it last year, and yeah, it means a lot to us. So thank you, and yeah, hope everyone stays safe.
Craig?
I don't think it's any different, really. Just thank you for all the support that you give us. It does mean a lot, and it's definitely noticeable when we're at home and we have 2,000, 3,000 for a championship game, and a sellout in T20s and one-day cricket when you go to other games where there's sort of 200, 300 people. So it's definitely noticeable, and we're always grateful for the support that we get. And it's not just support, it's actually knowledgeable support, and you actually know the game of cricket, rather than to some countries you go to, they don't actually know. Well, they do know cricket, but they don't know it as knowledgeable as what you guys know it. So thank you for all your support, and hopefully we'll see you in the summer at some point.
Yeah, couldn't have put it better myself, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone who's on the chat, and those who couldn't make it today, when we wish those of you who are in Australia continued success, and make sure you come back to us safe and sound. And of course, Jack Brooks, good luck moving house. I don't envy you at all.
No problem, mate. Thanks. I'll give you a call if I need some heavy lifting. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm all over that. Definitely. That's my jam. But gents, the three of you, thank you very much indeed for joining us and giving up your time this afternoon, and for having a bit of fun with that. I know that Steve Kirby will definitely enjoy being 12th man to that little lot, and of course a huge thanks has to go to all our members and supporters who have joined us on this call this afternoon. Of course, just reiterating what the guys said, we hope that you and your families are staying safe in this difficult time, and that we hope we can see you back at the Cooper Associates County Ground as soon as possible. As Jack said, the early bird deadline is looming at the end of the month. Seat renewal deadline is today. So if you do have any queries, if you do want any help or any advice on the membership, then the guys in the office who are now working from home will be more than happy to answer those for you. So thank you ever so much for everyone who joined us today. And Jack and Craig, huge thanks, and we hope to see you in person soon. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. See ya.